We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing.
I'm not saying there are no insecurity. It is too much to ignore. But to have one president just wake up one day without even engaging our president on this, no phone calls. Who even says that we have treaties that permits the U.S. to come into our country unaided without permission? Are we not a sovereign nation anymore?
Trump threatened Nigeria for the second time. And it is sick that some people are actually believing what he's saying. We all know he doesn't have Nigerian Christians at heart. He's doing this for a particular interest. Donald Trump should stay out of Nigerian affairs. You are not our president.
Because not even a week ago, Trump was threatening Venezuela. And you know what both of these countries have in common? Massive oil reserves. And just recently, Nigeria put a 15% tariff on imported petroleum, which means Western oil giants like Exxon, Chevron, and Shell can't just swoop in and dominate the market anymore.
Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China.
The Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians. The USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning. The Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late.
I'm not saying there are no insecurity. It is too much to ignore. But to have one president just wake up one day without even engaging our president on this, no phone calls. Who even says that we have treaties that permits the U.S. to come into our country unaided without permission? Are we not a sovereign nation anymore? The fact that we do not have their military might doesn't give U.S. that right to just declare war on our land. How sincere are they? Are they truly fighting for a group of people marginalized? Is it today that we have been calling for marginalized people? Did the U.S. not rescue their own team in Borno? Right after the Chibok girls were kidnapped, they came into this country without the right permission, went in, lifted their people and went out. Who are the owners of the helicopters landing in our very, very resourceful sites, taking away resources unabated in this country? Is it not for the lack of our military might that we could not have confronted those people? When we sought their help, when we felt helpless and sought the help of international countries, nobody came. It is sad that we are thinking somebody will come, including Saudi, for those of you who think this is a religious issue. Right now, Sudan is the way it is. Are you following Sudan at all? We have countries in Africa completely wiped out because of their resources. Congo, right now, what are they doing in Congo? Have somebody responded to the death happening in Congo? I pray for Africans because we really need that help. Nobody is coming to save us. But if they will just leave us to manage our resources, we can just stop colonizing and neo-colonizing us. We have not been able to join the Security Council in the UN till date. No African country is membership there. Every year at the General Assembly, we have African countries showing up asking because we want to truly be sovereign.
There are some conspiracy theories about even the purpose of this announcement by the President Trump. But we don't believe in rumor or hearsay. We believe the President of America should listen to good voices from this country, reliable and honest voices from this country, and rethink over this his so-called decision. It's just a collection of wrong statistics, especially genocide in the north. I can categorically say that these statistics are wrong, they are misleading, and it does not reflect the true situation of killings, banditry, and other vices in the north.
Mr. Trump has interior motive. Is not to our own advantage. There are more to it. So I think, if you ask me, I advise Mr. President, our President, Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, to find a political solution to it.
Donald Trump threatened Nigeria for the second time. And it is sick that some people are actually believing what he's saying. We all know he doesn't have Nigerian Christians at heart. He's doing this for a particular interest. Donald Trump should stay out of Nigerian affairs. You are not our president. He threatened Nigeria that we are not going to like what he's going to do to Nigeria. He said he's coming all the way from the United States to serve Nigerian Christians. When everyone knows it's a fact that the attacks and the insecurities in Nigeria are not as a result of religion. And to my surprise, Nigerian Christians actually think Donald Trump is coming to save them. No, he is not. He's not doing this for humanity. Are Christians not being killed in Gaza? Do we all not see how he turned a blind eye to support Israel? Or can we all not see what is happening in Sudan right now? What did the United States do to interfere in Sudan? How about the war taking place in Ethiopia, where majority of Ethiopians are Christians or following their own religion, but all of a sudden his concern is Nigeria? Donald Trump is trying to fight this whole narrative as a Christian-Muslim fight. I am a Muslim and Boko Haram do not see me as Muslim enough. In fact, historically, Boko Haram attacked more Muslims than they attacked Christians. Going to the next insecurity in Nigeria, herders and farmers. Herders and farmers have been going after each other for centuries. What you all see on social media is one-sided attack when the herders are going for a payback. But it's always two-sided. The farmers will attack the herders and the herders will attack the farmers. Those herders are not on social media to publish their own story, but it's not a religious fight. The third insecurity, which is the Biafra insecurity, the last time I checked, they are killing more Christians because they're happening in Southeast. And Southeastern part of Nigeria is predominantly Christian. Donald Trump does not have Nigeria at heart. And to tell you he's not doing this for humanity, Muslims in Nigeria are suffering from this insecurity, but he's making the entire topic about him coming to Nigeria to rescue Christians. Of course, Christians are being killed, but Muslims are also being killed. I have always been using my platform to advocate or to say no to people taking laws into their hands. And I'm always repeating this on my platform that I do not support any terrorists. And this has always been the opinion of every Muslim in Nigeria. Muslims are not the one killing Christians in Nigeria. Terrorists are. If we do not label the killings in Biafra or southeastern part of Nigeria as Christians killing, then you have no right whatsoever to label what's happening in the northern part of Nigeria as Muslims killing Christians. We don't see it in that way. So please, if you have to interfere in Nigerian politics, if you want to assist Nigeria, and if you are really doing this for humanity, let your military men assist Nigerian militaries in combating insecurity. You are threatening to use nuclear weapon and whatever. We do not want that in Nigeria. Nigeria is religiously sensitive and he's trying to weaponize it against Nigeria. Donald Trump should stay out of Nigerian politics. Thank you.
Please understand that anytime Trump says that he is protecting Christianity, what that is really code for is he's protecting white supremacy. That's what he really is saying. Because right now he is threatening war with Nigeria, saying that the Christians are under threat by Islamist terror, and that the U.S. might have to step in guns ablazing. But let's talk about what's really going on behind that religious Christianity smokescreen, okay? Because not even a week ago, Trump was threatening Venezuela. And you know what both of these countries have in common? Massive oil reserves. And just recently, Nigeria put a 15% tariff on imported petroleum, which means Western oil giants like Exxon, Chevron, and Shell can't just swoop in and dominate the market anymore. So now suddenly Christianity is in danger. Please. When he says Christianity, he does not mean freedom of religion. He means white Christian nationalism. The very same ideology that was weaponized and used to justify colonization, slavery, and invasion of Africa and the Americas under guise of missionary work. So let's be very clear. So this is not about saving Christians. This is about saving and maintaining Western control. It is quite literally about punishing Black and brown nations that dare to control their own resources. It's about keeping the global South under the thumb of white capitalist power and using religion as the moral excuse to justify doing it. Because if this was really about human rights and religious freedom, why is he not threatening action against countries where Muslims, Jews, and indigenous people are being threatened? Why just the oil-rich ones? So let's be very clear. Trump is not spreading faith. He's spreading white dominance. And Nigeria is just the next target on the altar of white Christian nationalism. White Christian imperialism has always been the game plan. They're simply using Christianity as their justifier the same way they always have. Don't fall for the okie doke.
Is Trump really trying to play in our faces with this strategic messaging about Nigeria? So he just called Nigeria a country of particular concern because, in his words, Christians are being slaughtered. And he is talking about the 3,100 Christians who've sadly been killed, right? But we need to slow that right down, because when you use faith like that and you ignore the Muslims dying too, it starts to feel like their lives don't count. And more than that, it hides what's actually driving the violence, because do you really think that this is about religion? Anyway, I need you guys to stick with me so you can see what's actually going on here, right? It's the same conflict, same killers, and this isn't new. It's chaos that's been brewing for years. Armed groups, gunmen, rogue herders, all moving through gaps that the governments have failed to fill, right? Isn't this the same play that we've seen in Haiti, Sudan, DRC? Convenient? Break the state, then swoop in with a savior story. Why now? Why Nigeria? Well, here's what they're not saying, right? Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China. And it's not just what's underground, is it? It's the land. The middle belt grows the food that feeds the nation, fertile, rain-fed, high yield. And guess where the most violence hits? Right there. And I need to clarify, right? People aren't being killed just because they're Christian. They're being killed because they're in the way. And many of them happen to be Christian because that's what it dominates that area, right? So this isn't just about faith. It's about land control, food and power. That same zone full of ginger farms, mineral-rich soil, and foreign players are circling. The Gates Foundation invested in smallholder farming, agri-tech, yield targets. This is not a conspiracy, right? This is public record. But when the West enters through aid, you know it rarely ever stops at support. And some will say that these killers don't move alone, right? They're backed, tolerated, or armed by whoever's buying access. Local counterparts, foreign deals, the highest bidder. So when you hear Christian persecution, ask what's really at stake and how close the nearest air path is, right? Because China's already in, right? Ports, refineries, defense deals, ammunition, factories. And now Trump wants Congress to get involved. That's not just concern. That's positioning. Because when America talks about saving Christians overseas, come on, man, is this really about faith? It looks like it might be a green light. It moves money, activates voters, justifies presence. And while that's happening, he's also saying, you know what? Maybe we should save Nigeria's best talent and make them come over and move to America. So which is it? Are you worried about the people dying? Or are you more concerned about scouting the ones who survive? That's not rescue, that's resource control. So what's the play? If I'm Nigeria, I tighten internal defense, limit foreign boots. If I'm a citizen, start asking who's funding the next rescue mission. This isn't about God, is it? What is it about? Nigeria's rise, the deals, the land, the leverage. Have they made it too powerful to ignore? Anyway, let's talk.